The connection between Thomas Sankara and Captain Ibrahim Traoré is part of a historical continuity of Pan-African resistance and the quest for sovereignty for Burkina Faso and Africa in general. Thomas Sankara, often called the Che Guevara of Africa, was much more than a charismatic leader. He was a revolutionary who dared to challenge the status quo, both in Burkina Faso and on the international stage. Sankara's vision for his nation, then known as Upper Volta, was one of self-sufficiency, social justice, and Pan-African unity. He understood that true liberation went far beyond political independence. It required economic empowerment and a dismantling of the neo-colonial structures that continued to hold Africa captive. His revolutionary zeal manifested itself in his radical reforms, including land redistribution, ambitious infrastructure projects, and a strong focus on education and healthcare. Sankara's commitment to social justice was unwavering. He championed women's rights, advocated for environmental protection, and fought tirelessly against corruption. His message resonated deeply with the oppressed masses, who saw in him a leader truly dedicated to their well-being. However, Sankara's radical agenda and his sharp criticism of Western imperialism made him a target. His assassination in 1987, orchestrated by forces threatened by his vision, sent shockwaves across Africa and beyond, solidifying his status as a martyr of African liberation. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, who came to power in 2022 after a coup d'etat against Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Damiba, presents himself as an heir to Sankara's ideas. Faced with a security crisis linked to terrorism, Captain Ibrahim Traoré broke with French military influence, expelled French forces, promoted a policy of sovereignty and popular mobilization for national defense, and diversified partnerships, Russia, Turkey, etc. In times of trouble, true leaders emerge. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is one of those men, a leader shaped by the deep security, economic and political crises facing Burkina Faso. His rise to power in 2022, amidst growing insecurity and public discontent, marked a turning point in the country's recent history. The rise of an officer on the front lines. Before leading the country, Traoré was a young officer on the front lines, a direct witness to the ravages of terrorism on his people. Frustrated by ineffective leadership and dependence on foreign powers, he joined those advocating for a new direction, based on self-sufficiency, sovereignty, and national unity. A crisis as a defining moment. Faced with an alarming security situation, Traoré took bold steps. His leadership style is reminiscent of Thomas Sankara, another Burkinabe leader who sought to break free from foreign influence and empower his people. Challenges and stakes ahead. Leading in times of crisis means facing constant pressure. Traoré must manage. Burkina Faso is at a crossroads in history. It's charting a new course focused on running its own affairs, taking care of itself, and pushing back against outside influence. With Captain Ibrahim Traoré now in charge, the country is taking big steps to break away from how power used to work and decide its own future, breaking free from outside influence. For decades, Burkina Faso, like many African countries, has dealt with outside powers trying to control its economy, military, and politics. But recent decisions like telling French troops to leave, ending unfair military deals, and finding new international partners show that things are changing. Burkina Faso wants to make its own decisions. Safety and stability, a top priority. The country faces serious safety threats, especially from terrorist groups in the Sahel region. To address this, the government has. More information will be provided in the following scenes. Economic transformation towards self-sufficiency. Burkina Faso's leaders are focusing on controlling the country's resources, making things locally and not having to rely on others for its economy. Some key initiatives include. More information will be provided in the following scenes. More than 3 decades after his assassination in 1987, Thomas Sankara's legacy continues to inspire a new generation of African leaders and activists. His vision of self-sufficiency, economic sovereignty, and anti-imperialism still resonates today, especially in the face of growing demands for political and economic independence across the continent. Today, his ideals are reflected in figures like Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso, Assimi Goïta, Mali, and Abdourahmane Tiani, Niger, who oppose foreign influence and advocate for national sovereignty. The rise of leaders like Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso, along with a wave of assertive governance in Mali, Niger, and Guinea, marks a possible turning point in the African political and economic landscape. This shift echoes the revolutionary spirit of Thomas Sankara, who championed self-sufficiency, sovereignty, and economic independence before his assassination in 1987. breaking the chains of neocolonialism. For decades, African nations have struggled against neocolonial influence, where former colonial powers maintained their grip through economic dependence, military presence, and political interference. The recent expulsion of French troops from Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, along with efforts to diversify partnerships towards Russia, China, Turkey, etc., suggests the opening of a new chapter where African leaders are putting the interests of their nations before foreign dictates. Economic and resource sovereignty. Many of these countries are rich in natural resources, gold, uranium, oil, and rare minerals, but remain economically disadvantaged due to unfair exploitation contracts and external control of their industries. A true new dawn would mean security and stability. The key challenges. While these movements offer hope, challenges remain. The security situation in the Sahel region is fragile, with terrorism and armed conflicts threatening stability. Economic reforms take time, and without strong governance, there is a risk of repeating past mistakes, corruption, power struggles, and external sabotage. Will this momentum last? The future depends on several factors. This moment feels like a crossroads. Either Africa seizes this opportunity to redefine its destiny, or history repeats itself. Youth movements and growing political awareness across the continent suggest that this time, the tide may truly be turning. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, inspired by the revolutionary ideals of Thomas Sankara, envisions a Burkina Faso that is independent, fair, and united. Traoré's leadership is marked by a deep commitment to economic empowerment, social justice, and the dismantling of neo-colonial structures. His policies reflect a deep understanding of Sankara's vision, focusing on land redistribution, infrastructure development, and prioritizing education and healthcare. Traoré's commitment to women's rights, environmental protection, and anti-corruption measures echoes Sankara's legacy and resonates with a new generation of Africans who see in him a leader dedicated to their well-being and the true liberation of their nation. As Traoré's vision unfolds, the people of Burkina Faso are witnessing the dawn of a new era. His tireless efforts to rebuild the nation inspire hope and determination among the population. Communities come together to support his initiatives, creating a ripple effect of positive change. Traoré's emphasis on empowering young people and training future leaders ensures that Sankara's revolutionary spirit lives on. His leadership is not just about policies. It's about instilling a sense of pride and purpose in every citizen of Burkina Faso. By fostering unity and resilience, Traoré is paving the way for a brighter and more prosperous future. Through his actions, Traoré demonstrates that the dream of an independent and sovereign Burkina Faso is not just a distant aspiration, but an attainable reality. His journey is a testament to the enduring power of visionary leadership and the unyielding spirit of a nation determined to chart its own course. As we look to the future, Captain Ibrahim Traoré's commitment to Sankara's ideals is a beacon of hope for all of Africa. He reminds us that, with dedication, courage, and an unwavering belief in justice, a new dawn is not just possible, but inevitable. Captain Ibrahim Traoré has strengthened national security by modernizing the armed forces and by implementing effective strategies to fight terrorism. His proactive approach has reduced threats and ensured the safety of Burkina Faso's citizens. Traoré's commitment to a secure nation is evident in his comprehensive reforms, which include improved training programs, better equipment, and a focus on intelligence operations. By prioritizing the protection of his people, Traoré has not only fortified Burkina Faso's defenses, but he has also instilled a renewed sense of confidence and stability among its citizens. This focus on security is a cornerstone of his broader vision of a resilient and self-reliant nation. As Burkina Faso moves forward, Traoré's unwavering dedication to safeguarding the nation lays a solid foundation for sustainable development and prosperity. His leadership illustrates the enduring power of visionary governance, reminding us that a secure and self-reliant future is within reach. By ensuring the safety of his people, Traoré paves the way for a better and more promising future, resonating with the spirit of Thomas Sankara's revolutionary ideals. In this journey towards a secure and prosperous Burkina Faso, Traoré's legacy is a source of hope and inspiration for all of Africa. Under Traoré's leadership, Burkina Faso has seen a big increase in its agricultural production. By bringing in modern farming techniques and supporting local farmers, he's managed to achieve food self-sufficiency and improve living conditions in rural communities. Traoré's agricultural reforms haven't just boosted crop yields, they've also given farmers the knowledge and resources they need to provide for themselves. This focus on agriculture shows his commitment to self-sufficiency and economic independence. By prioritizing the agricultural sector, Traoré has laid the foundation for a strong and prosperous Burkina Faso. His vision of a nation able to feed itself and thrive independently gives hope to many. Traoré's efforts to revitalize agriculture echo the revolutionary ideals of Thomas Sankara, who also championed self-sufficiency and rural development. As Burkina Faso continues to move forward, the progress made in agriculture under Traoré's leadership is a clear sign of a brighter, more self-reliant future. In this quest for a safe and prosperous Burkina Faso, Traoré's agricultural legacy stands as a beacon of hope and inspiration for the entire continent. Traoré also focused on industrial development, encouraging the creation of local businesses and attracting foreign investment. His industrial policies stimulated economic growth and created many jobs, contributing significantly to Burkina Faso's prosperity. By fostering a flourishing industrial sector, Traoré not only diversified the country's economy, but also laid the foundation for sustainable economic development. This prioritization of industrialization echoes the broader vision of a self-sufficient and independent nation, capable of standing on its own on the world economic stage. The industrial progress made under Traoré's leadership represents a beacon of hope and progress, inspiring future generations to continue building a prosperous and resilient Burkina Faso. As the country moves forward, the progress made in industrial development testifies to Traoré's commitment to economic independence and growth. In the quest for a secure and prosperous Burkina Faso, Traoré's legacy of industrial growth represents a pillar of hope and inspiration for the entire continent.